Hey, this is Toshi Miyazaki. Today is Easter Sunday, and many people celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So today I want to discuss about how we can believe unseen truth, and it will unlock all the possibilities and the potentials in us. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to feel joy? Now let's talk about that. And please, if continue to watch this video all the way because I'll be talking a lot of good stuff for you. Now let's jump into the topic. I want to talk from the Bible, Gospel of John, chapter 20, verse 1 through 8. Let me just read it for you. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb. We don't know where they have put him." So Peter and the other disciple started to the tombs. Now both are running, but the other disciple outrun Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent over and looked in at the strips of linen lying there, but did not go in. Then Simon Peter came along behind him and went straight into the tomb. He saw the strips of linen lying there, as well as the cloth that had been wrapped around Jesus' head. The cloth was still lying in its place, separate from the linen. Finally, the other disciple, who had reached the tomb first, also went inside. He saw and believed. Now let me briefly explain about this background of this story. This was, we call it a Sunday, but we don't know what exact date is. But the point is, now Jesus Christ, well, let me explain about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is that the God became a human being, and his name is Jesus. Okay? And so he lived in about 2,000 years ago in Israel, and lived 33 years. And then a lot of his teaching and the miracles was great, but his enemies hated that. And so therefore they caught Jesus and then killed him on the cross. Well, after he died, in the third day is this the scene of we are talking about. So, because of this Jewish national holiday, they couldn't put all this spice and all this anoint the dead body of Jesus. So they had to wait a few days after, until the end of this Jewish holiday called the Passover. So that's why early in the morning, these ladies went to the tomb to anoint the body of Jesus, and that's what happened in this today's the Bible scene. Now I want to talk about the John first. There was the John and the Peter appear in the story. So who is John? Now he wrote this Gospel of John, okay, and also he wrote some other materials in the New Testament, including the book of Revelation. He was a fisherman. He was considered as probably one of the youngest disciples Jesus had. He had a special 12 disciples, close friends, and they were called apostles, and most likely John was the youngest one. But please make a notice about this thing. I just read this verse 2. Says, she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, that's John, the one Jesus loved. Now remember this, John wrote this gospel story, and he was calling himself the disciple Jesus loved. In short, beloved disciple. Now, knowing that he's calling himself beloved disciple, how could John believe the resurrection of Jesus without seeing resurrected Jesus at the tomb? Here's the answer. John knew, he was extremely aware of how much he was loved by Jesus. That's it. That's why he described himself the disciple Jesus loved. He was very, very, very aware of how much he was loved by Jesus. That's a key. That's a key, my friends, for happy and joyous life. How much we know we are loved. Now later on the same chapter of chapter 20, now Jesus said something like this. Hey, believing without seeing, it's so much blessing. Can we do that? Believe without seeing. We are so much blessed. How do we see that? With our eyes of our heart, and with our eyes of love, we can see unseen truth. Now let's talk about one more character, Peter, Simon Peter. Who is Simon Peter? Well, he has been the leader of this, disciples of Jesus. He was like the front man. He was a very, always his name is mentioned at first among other 12, special friends, right? He was a fisherman. He was very successful, business owner of, I think, owning a fishing business and so forth before he started to follow Jesus, okay? And a couple of days before about a week before Jesus was killed, he started to mention about the upcoming his death. So hey guys, I'll be going to Jerusalem and be caught and be killed by the enemies and so forth. But in the third day, I'll be raised to the life again. So all his friends were saying, what the heck he's talking about? No, it cannot happen, and all these things, right? And then Peter said, being always outspoken person, and said, you know what, Jesus? Even though everybody will disown you and run away, I will stay and sticking around to the end. I will protect you. So that's what Peter said in front of everybody. And man, Jesus said to Peter, you know what? I'm going to tell you. Later tonight, you're going to deny me. Even you don't know me 3 times. And of course, Peter said, no way, I would never do that, right? And guess what? He did it. So after Jesus was caught, everybody ran away, but Peter followed Jesus and the enemy in distance. And then went to the same place when Jesus was falsely accused, basically like a bullcrap trial, right? And somebody noticed Peter, and so said, hey, you were one of the friends of Jesus. And Peter said, oh no, I'm not. And the second time, same thing happened, and he said, no way, I'm not. I don't know him. I don't know what you're talking about. And third time was like a really crucial, because yes, you are. You speak with the same accent from this region called the Nazareth. And then we saw you with him and so forth. Now he started to deny, no, I don't know what you're talking about, almost using a cussing words, right? And then at that time, Jesus was there a little bit in the distance, caught and everything. He turned around and looked at Peter. And the Peter noticed, oh my gosh, he Jesus told me about I'm going to deny him 3 times, right? And so he ran away, and then he just went into a deep, deep, deep crying and depression and so forth. Okay, so Peter was feeling big time guilt, right, and shame. Now that's why he couldn't believe the resurrection of Jesus at that time at the tomb. He was filled with his own guilt and the shame so much that he was not in a state of knowing and feeling how much he was loved by Jesus. Now, under this kind of a mentality, Peter could not see and believe unseen facts. Now, we're the same way too. So let's make it a practical and personalized for you. Now, do you know how much you are loved? Loved by God. This is the single most important thing you must know. I talked about this in my very first YouTube videos, so if you're interested, you can check it out later. But as John believed the resurrection of Jesus Christ without actually seeing, we can do the same thing. Know and feel. Please know and feel how much you're loved. I am so convinced that the most important, the factor you need to know about yourself is you are so much loved. That is your starting point in your life. Go all the way, in your journey of this life. You are so much loved. Your origin is love. Your DNA is love. You are love. Your creator, God, is love. Therefore, you are here to be loved. It's so amazing to me that most important fact in the entire universe. It's so simple. You are so much loved. We are all wired in love. Now proclaim it as a fact because it is a fact. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am so much loved. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, when your mind kind of wanders around to where you are not feeling loved, bring your mind back to the reality of love. When you believe all these truths, even though you cannot see them, you will experience the reality of love. You're surrounded by love. Love lives in you, and you are inside of love. You are so much loved. Now, I'm so happy and grateful now. Thank you, because you are watching this video and connecting with me. Now, please remember this. Knowing how much you're loved, that's a key. Ready? Knowing how much you're loved unlocks all the potentials and the possibilities which are already in you. And you can enjoy your life at the maximized level. You can feel happiness and joy right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and happy Easter, and I will see you in the next video.